Okay, it is July 7th, 2022, 6 p.m., and this is the Health and Safety Committee meeting.
Now we're going to call Health and Safety Committee to order at 6 o'clock p.m. And members present are Dan Wireball, Mark McKeever, Steve Young, and myself as chair. First item up, is there any public participation for the Health and Safety Committee this evening? If so, go to the podium, state your name and address, and have at it.
Good evening. My name is Kayla Brucker. I live at 850 Rogers Street in Bucyrus. I'm kind of here today to get a more clear idea on what's the city's responsibility when it comes to trees and tree lawns on properties. During the thunderstorm on June 13th, the tree that is currently sitting out front was struck by lightning and split almost into two. I believe you guys have some pictures of that. And instead of falling on the street, it fell on my home. Me and my spouse both called the safety office the next day to try to get all this started and see what's going on. I didn't receive a call back until after I called and left another voicemail 2 Mondays ago, so the next Monday. What else is concerning is I didn't hear about any of this until after I sent you guys this email. And that was... in that voicemail that I received 2 Thursdays ago, it was stated that they were going to send a foreman out to assess the situation and at least remove branches. I was given a time frame of that week or last week, and haven't heard anything from the safety office at all until I called them yesterday, and was told multiple times that because it didn't fall in the street and it fell on my house, it's my responsibility and I have to call my homeowner's insurance. In several voicemails that I left to Mr. Wagner, I mentioned that it was not only on my house, but also on the city's sidewalk. So I'm not really sure what happens with all of this. This is my first home. I've never owned one before. So I just wanted to see what was going on. But when I told them on the voicemail that, hey, this is on my house 3 weeks ago, I've received nothing from anybody saying, hey, this is your responsibility because it's on your house. If it was stated 3 weeks ago, the tree would have been removed by now. It's still on my house because I kind of got a little bit of a runaround going on with that office, and I don't really understand that if it fell anywhere else, like on the city street, it would be the city's problem, but now it's my problem because it fell on my house when it's the city's tree. If I wanted to do anything to the city's tree lawn or that tree or whatever, I'd have to get the city's permission as far as I am aware. But because it fell on my house, now all of a sudden it's my tree. And I'm very confused as to that, and I think that needs to be changed.
Okay, a couple points if I can.
Sure,
I didn't want
absolutely.
to cut you off if you're done.
I'm done.
Okay, so after getting your email, I did go speak with the service director, and that's something that we had talked about prior to when I was on council, even that the council had addressed, and it kind of died, and we're going to bring it back up.
Okay.
Currently, the tree lawn is your responsibility.
Okay.
I think one of the things we're going to look at is maybe what can we do to make that the city's responsibility,
Okay.
especially now that we're part of the Tree City USA, we've got a tree budget, things like that. To clarify what he said, it's not the fact that it fell on your house versus the street. I think what they were trying to tell you, it could have fallen in your yard. It's which way, if it were in the street, the city would clean it up just to open the roadway. Mm-hmm. Because it didn't fall in the street, whether it hit your house, whether it hit grass, whatever, because it's on your property, that's your responsibility is essentially what the answer to that. That's the explanation that you should have gotten from what I understand.
It wasn't articulated quite like that.
Sure. And
How it was...
I can't speak for that. I wasn't
Correct.
party to that conversation.
How it was presented to me was basically it fell this way, not that way, your responsibility. But if that had been articulated in any way, shape, or form 3 weeks ago, I could have started it on my end 3 weeks ago.
Sure, and every homeowner's company is a little different. Some of them have money that's in your policy that will take care of tree cleanup. Others will only do it if it damaged an insured structure, and that's a whole other topic for another day.
At this point, I don't even know if it did any damage to my house because I can't remove it to see if it's
Correct.
done any damage to my home.
Right. So what I'll
that's
do
where I'm at.
is, you're going to stay for the whole meeting, or are you going to leave after this, I would assume?
If you need me to stay for the whole
I've
meeting,
got your
I'll stay.
email, so I can get with you. I'm going to go have another conversation tomorrow.
Absolutely.
We're going to refer this at our next Tuesday meeting, so that in our next Thursday meeting, we can start this discussion.
Okay.
To see what might be changed for future. It's not going to help your situation.
Right, and that's
But it is
fine.
going to make it a little more clear for other
Exactly.
people.
It's
And-
kind of where I want to be is just I need to know, I think it should be more clear for the sorry, the dumb person that doesn't know anything about city ordinances or
You
regulations.
just said that's your first house, and it's the first time you've had a tree fall on your house.
Yeah,
That does not make you an expert in that topic.
So, and I think it should be more clear. Also,
Sure.
just on a side note, I think it should be more clear and easier to access city ordinances, because we looked on Google and it's kind of difficult.
They're on the city website,
Okay.
and we'll send you an email.
That sounds
Follow up,
perfect.
and I'll send you the link and show you where it's at. so.
Perfect, so that I can understand exactly what's my responsibility versus the city's.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of why we're here, is just to
Okay.
figure out
I'll follow up with you tomorrow.
who dropped
after
what
I
ball
have-
in
yeah.
what court.
Sure, I'll follow up with you tomorrow after I have that conversation and let you know what I learned further.
Perfect, you have
and,
my information?
I've got your email, if
Perfect.
that's the best way. If you've got another way you want to get a hold, if you have a phone number, you can maybe just leave it with Terry there and I can grab it after. the
Sure,
meeting
until
from
we
you.
go back to work, yeah, you can get a hold of me whenever.
Very good.
This week, next week, it might be a little difficult.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, after 3:30, you can call.
Well, after 3:30.
And I appreciate you reaching out to us and coming in
Yeah.
tonight to speak to us.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
I got some comments from other people on this. I don't, trying to be sensitive to, I don't know if he wants me to
You need a pen?
let everyone know where
I'm gonna
this
try to-
information is coming from. Anyhow, it's ordinance 909 is trees, and the first, right off the bat, it's 909.02, control of trees is vested in the service safety director, so he has complete control of the trees. And I'm sorry to say, but yeah, you're right, the trees are pretty much, then 905.1, 905.2, oh wait, I'm on the sidewalks now. I got my things mixed up here. It's in here, oh, here it is, I was going to write on. 909 is the moving of trees, permit deposit or bond, it's called. Anyhow, the message I got was that, of course, I can't ask anybody. 2 years ago, the service safety director told the guys to quit trimming trees. So now 2 years has passed, and now we have a big windstorm and all this happened. Now, did that cause any of that or not? I don't know. But the other thing is, the city, I thought we were supposed to have a tree ordinance. Couldn't find that. I don't think we ever passed that. We spoke about it. That was supposed to cover all that stuff. And I don't even know if you need that to be in Tree City. I would,
No.
We do have a tree ordinance. There is a tree ordinance in there. There is a tree.
what's it under?
I don't know the number.
Should be under tree.
I have to look it up.
If you search tree ordinance, nothing comes up. So anyhow,
It's in there.
all right. Well, this was all about trees and trimming of trees and, so, yeah, but right now it's the homeowner, everything from the curb on.
I say let's get it
On this.
referred, and at our next committee meeting, we can start to tackle it.
Well, we can, but my only concern is, same way with sidewalks, where do you draw the
I know
line?
it.
So,
Worthy of a conversation. Any other public participation for health and safety? Name and address and state your case.
Jim Richardson, 316 River Street. To follow up on this trees, so we're supposed to be a tree city, but I want to know something. I've had a couple people, when they redone streets, city came along and put new trees in the tree lawn. They really didn't want them there. Does that person have the right to take that and remove that tree?
I don't have the answer to that question, but I'll be happy to get that answer to that question for you.
Well, I'm just curious. I'm sure everybody
I
else
think
is watching.
there's
would
quite a
want
bit
to
of
know.
information here for us to learn and start to discuss, and that's something we'll find
I
out.
know there's a couple houses on Plymouth Street where they run all those trees up and down through there. And a couple of the homeowners there said, I'd just soon not have them. And because we're a tree city now and registered or whatever, they're not sure if they're allowed to cut them out.
The designation of Tree City doesn't change what you are not allowed to do and are allowed to do. It's basically a designation that we as a community have set up a program for maintenance of the trees. You have to have a certain dollar amount of funding per number of residents that you have in the community and things like that. So that's really, it's more of a certificate, if you will, or a way to say that you have met these goals to be recognized as a community that has, invested in its tree program.
Well, like Mr. Wireball, he said that he was looking up ordinance for the trees, and I was trying to look them up too, and I can't find them. John, if we need help, buddy, we really do, because it is so
It's part
confusing.
of what Dan was already in.
Of trees?
That 900 code.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not an extensive one by any means.
Yeah.
It's just I believe what Dan has there.
Well,
Is all our tree ordinance is.
okay, so tree ordinance, what I want to know is, does it state
That's
exactly who's liable for what? I
I'm looking
understand
at
what
when they were
Kevin
put
was
in.
saying about if it falls out in the street's going to clean it up. Falls on the personal
92,
property.
64.
Okay, but I want to know, are we allowed to cut down these
think that's
trees?
all.
I have a tree that's not in the tree lawn, but I have big limbs hanging over the street. You know,
That's
who's
your-
liable for that?
That's your tree.
My tree,
Yeah.
okay.
That says in here that 13 feet, 5 inches or some odd height like that from the street, you have to keep it cleared.
Right.
Height-wise.
Height-wise, and the complaint I got from a city employee was that they quit doing that 2 years ago. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. And now they're, you know, before, they would ask you to get it trimmed. If you didn't, the city would come in and trim it and charge
Okay,
you.
well, I had to trim my tree because I had the top of it trimmed out because I know if one of those limbs came over, it would have took out a power line down there on River Street.
Right.
And the line got taken down once before and killed half the city.
We will get all these things and more answered, and we'll address this at the following committee meeting in 2
Okay,
weeks.
all right, thank you.
Here he comes. He's got the answer for us.
Yeah, section 909, what you have there, Dan, is our tree ordinance. It's not extensive, it's not a lot. It places responsibility for the care of trees on the adjoining property owner to that part of the right-of-way. And also, a permit is supposed to be obtained before you remove a tree and cut a tree or whatever, so.
Well, I'm guilty of that one.
What's that?
I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, a lot of people are, and to be honest with you, I haven't issued one of those permits, I think, in over a decade. So, and I think that was the whole process several years ago when the tree board came to council trying to get a new tree ordinance implemented in the city of Bucyrus.
Well,
So-
and that's probably that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
the new tree ordinance. I
Yeah.
mean, we have
Yeah.
this ordinance, and the only part of this ordinance that has been changed since 1964 was 909.09, which
Yeah.
is certain trees prohibited. And yes, I do remember us passing that part of it. But the rest of it was all passed in 1964, so.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
that one was 92, but anyhow.
And to answer the question about what the guys were told about trimming trees, and we did have a resident that complained of the way that our service department team trimmed the trees. And so, yes, Mr. Wagner did put a stop to that because he didn't want to upset other residents for the ways our guys are trimming trees. I don't know that our service department has been properly trained on the correct
No.
methods of trimming trees. And then until something like that happens through our tree program, then I think Mr. Wagner just wanted to put a stop to that. So moving forward,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
you know, I would encourage council to really take this seriously, address it, because as our tree program develops, I think pruning becomes critical for preventing disasters and damages like we've had. And we need to identify, you know, dangerous trees and dying trees or dead trees that need to be mitigated as a nuisance.
John, question.
Jim, go up to the podium if you would. That way, I understand that there are people watching at home, that way you can be heard.
All right, so is this new tree information going to be in your office, seeing as how it kind of falls under zoning and permits and stuff?
Yeah, once the information gets presented to council, it would definitely be available for public examination for sure. You know, we want something that the community can get behind and can support. So we would definitely want to have that available for anybody to review prior to passage. So whether that be in the clerk's office, my office, service director's office, or even posted online, you know, we want to
Okay.
make sure it's available.
All right, so right at this moment, just trimming a tree, you don't have to have a permit.
I don't know exactly, I'd have to look at the code, John.
Well, see, I had to because of that emergency we had when that pole beside my house is when the,
Well, I can tell you, the administration is not actively going after people for trimming their trees by any means.
I understand, and this was all under emergency because our pole caught on fire at transformer.
All right, could we, I'm gonna move on since this
Yeah.
isn't on our agenda, and I think we've exhausted everything we can do tonight with this one. So,
I think Mr. McKeever has one.
go ahead.
One question, just if you don't have the answer, it's fine. Do we have the equipment to do tree trimming? As in like a lift bucket and,
Well, we do have a utility lift bucket.
But is it-
But
I
but
mean,
as far as meeting all the OSHA requirements and stuff, that I'm not aware of.
I was just wondering.
And I think our idea was to probably end up contracting a lot of this out, putting it out for an annual bid to go, and as our budget affords, we would start first identifying the dangerous and
Okay.
disastrous trees that are out there.
you answered my
Get those first, and then proceed with a annual pruning program.
Okay, all right.
All right, thank you very much.
Would you make a note to put that on the next council meeting agenda to have a
Already done.
referral? Thank you.
Got
All
it.
right. Any other public participation for health and safety? All right, next is approval of minutes from the June 23rd, 2022 regular Health and Safety Committee meeting that you have in front of you in your packet. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Wireball with a second by Mr. Young. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next topic is proposed ordinance 26-2022. We've had two readings on that, the second being last night, or Tuesday night, and Ms. Sherrick. Pardon?
26 was the first one.
Second reading was Tuesday. And Ms. Sherrick noted an error in that, and that error occurs in section 2, where it talks about removing the one-way status of the alley that runs from Walnut Street to Sandusky Avenue, next to the Neff Law Firm. The wording of this proposed ordinance says remove and close the alley, so we need to amend that because we are not closing the alley. It was just intended to remove the one-way status. So, Mr. Gernert, what's the proper procedure here? We went through two readings. Can we request a change and then take it back for a first reading?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we would amend it and then bring it back before the council for first.
Does it need
reading.
a new proposed ordinance number, or can we stick with this number?
You can stick with it. It'll
Okay.
just be amended.
So I would entertain a motion to amend proposed ordinance 26-22 on section 2 to simply say shall henceforth remove the one-way signage and not to close the alley.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first from Mr. McKeever and a second from Mr. Wireball to amend proposed ordinance 26-2022. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. All right, that motion carries. I don't have any open projects to discuss tonight. Do any of you?
Not at this moment.
All right. Any further public participation for health and safety this evening? Hearing none, we're going to adjourn health and safety at 6:18 p.m.
Okay, it is July 7th, 2022, 6:21 p.m., and this is the Finance Committee meeting.
All right, I'll call finance to order at 6:21. Members present, Mark McKeever, Kevin Myers, Terry Spiegel, and myself, Chair. Is there any public participation? All right, without that, we have in our packet here, I finally found them, the approval of the minutes from June 23rd, regular finance meeting.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Kevin
And Mark.
and Mark. All right, now I'm going to appropriations. That's what I was really looking for, the appropriations.
You got to vote.
What? Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Well-
And the email we got today said that they were pulling those appropriations and we're going to do it at our next meeting because Joyce
Oh.
was unable to be here today.
Okay, so I must have missed that email. That's why I say I came in here and pulled this thing up, and
Yeah.
I guess it didn't reload when I was at home. I looked at it before I left, there wasn't anything on there. I get here and there's this whole string of emails, and I'm like, holy mackerel. Okay, so we don't have to do that. So I'm panicking, sitting here trying to figure out where all this stuff is. And appropriation, open projects, I went through those. I'm gonna clean them up and get them out to you and make sure the clerk has those and add anything that we have put in this year. So we hashed that out last time. So any other public participation? All right. Since there is none, I'll adjourn the meeting at 6:22 PM. Wow, that was-
Okay, it is July 7th, 2022, 6:24 PM, and this is the Public Lands and Buildings Committee meeting.
6:22 or 6:24. Calling this Public Lands and Buildings Committee meeting to order at 6:24. Members present are Kevin Myers, Dan Wirebaugh, and myself, Chair. Brenton Potter is absent. First things first, do we have any public participation? Seeing none. I'm asking for approval of minutes from June 23rd, Public Lands and Buildings.
Why are you looking at me?
Gonna let
you go
first.
I thought he did something wrong. I move to approve those minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's been passed. Do we have any open projects to talk about? Hearing none.
Hey, no, I want to know about the bridge. You said you came
Well, that
about
was
the
in health and
bridge,
safety.
and then you left. And
It
we
was in
never,
health and safety, so
every
we
meeting
tabled it
we
because we didn't
said,
know which one about, wrong committee.
yeah.
That's
Well-
safety and which bridge?
The railroad bridge, but that's not public
Oh,
land,
yeah,
so
well-
we can't
Has
talk about
has
it
that been
now.
taken care of to your satisfaction?
I have no clue because I didn't get to find out anymore. They were bringing
Okay.
us more information and I wasn't here to hear any, but from what it sounds like, they didn't bring that in either. That's nice of them.
Yeah.
Okay. First chance I had to ask you.
All right, then I will adjourn Public Lands and Buildings at 6:25. It's going to be,
Okay. It is July 7th, 2022, 6:27 PM, and this is the Plating Committee meeting.
Okay, I will call plating to order at 6:27. Members present, Kevin Myers, Dan Wireball, Terry Spiegel, and myself, Chair. Any public participation? None being. You have before you the approval of minutes for June 23rd.
Move to approve.
All right, I have a first from Kevin, second from Terry. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passed. Okay, ordinance number 27-2022.
Proposed, I forgot to put that on there. Proposed.
Proposed ordinance, and I don't have it in front of
It's
me.
not in the packet. What was the topic?
This was more just a question, which I had talked to Brian about. There was concern about it being in the packet and having an assigned number since it's
That's
only
correct.
draft. So we were supposed to bring it up today to discuss, should it be removed from the packet and not read? Since
'Cause it's-
public hearing technically has to take place first.
Before the public hearing, which is always first.
Right, so you can have your first two readings, you just can't pass it until the public hearing. The legislation says, before the proposed ordinance may be passed, so you can have two readings, have your public hearing, and then pass it. So we were just expediting the process.
So as far as voting favorable and unfavorable, are we allowed to do that?
Yeah. We haven't passed it. You can vote unfavorable after the public hearing. I mean, there's no reason.
It's just getting proceed to.
I was gonna say, I think, if I could real quick, I think it's similar to what we just did in health and safety, where we had, if something comes up out of the public hearings where we feel the need to make a change, we do what we just did, we amend it, and then it goes back again and goes
And
through
its
another
number
set of
stays the
readings.
same regardless?
Correct.
Right.
Sweet. That was
That's
the
fine.
concern.
Well, the concern was giving it a number, you're allowed to give it a number before all that stuff.
It's just a proposed number, so yeah.
Yeah,
I'm good with it.
What Kevin just said too is if we do go to the, when it does go to the public hearing, if something is changed and we amend it, it still gets to keep that number.
Okay,
Figured,
Very well.
okay, the question was answered, the legal part of it. So, open projects. If you see anything on the open projects, please bring them up and we can discuss them. I gotta get that copy for myself, so I got it in front of me like Dan had, and so we can get it. And they're dwindled down to what we need, so. Public participation. Okay, none present. I will adjourn at 6:30 PM.
Okay, it is July 7th, 2022, 6:32 PM, and this is the Economic Development Committee meeting.
Okay, I will call Economic Development to order at 6:32 PM. Members present, Aaron Sherrick, Steve Young, myself, and Brenton Potter, Chair, is absent. So I call the meeting to order. So public participation for economic development. Okay, none. Approval of the minutes. Anybody have any questions? If not, can I entertain a motion?
Make motion to accept.
I'll second that.
Okay.
I guess they're okay, I'll second that.
If there's no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passed.
Who was the first and second? I'm sorry.
Young Sharon.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, there's only three of us.
Yeah, I knew it had to be one
I
of.
can't make the motion. Okay, public library appointment of Colton Young. And I do believe somebody's in the audience. Is
No.
he here, not here?
Nope,
Okay.
that's him.
Okay, you're for service committee. Okay, I wasn't sure. All right, before you have a letter, attention council president, dear city council members, the Bucyrus Public Library Board of Trustees has received the resignation of Hannah Jacobs, whose term will expire December 31st, 2022. We would like the approval of Bucyrus City Council to appoint Colton Young to fill this vacancy. Thank you, Stephanie D. Buchanan, Director, Bucyrus Public Library.
So that was kind of confusing. It says her term expires December 31st, but technically this was.
Finish the term till December 31st, 2022.
Effective, this is effective immediately though.
Yeah.
Am I missing this? Am I messing this up? It's okay. I don't need to know.
No, what it is we can't approve them past the end of the term. So
Oh,
literally, we're
okay.
approving him until that time, and then he'll have to be put back in or whatever.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions, discussions? If not, can I entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to have Mr. Young take over Ms.
Jacobs.
Jacobs' previous position.
Okay. Do I have a second? Okay. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed unanimous. All right. Any open projects? Yeah, we need to try to work on. I got to work on it too. So right now, any public participation?
I have a question.
Yes.
Was that was just requested regular, right? That was,
No, that has to be immediate.
okay, so it's an emergency.
I need to amend that to an emergency. I
That-
apologize.
Do I have a motion for the amended emergency?
I'll make the motion. to make
Do I have a
it
second?
emergency.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye, motion passed. Okay, Since there's no public participation, I will adjourn Economic Development at 6:36 PM.
I'm waiting on somebody.
Okay, it is July 7th, 2022, 6:37 PM, and this is the Service Committee meeting.
I'd like to call the Service Committee meeting to get to order at 6:37. Members present are Steve Young, C. Aaron Sherrick, and myself. Brenton Potter is absent. Okay, first of all, we need public participation from anything from the Service Committee. Seeing none, we'll go on. Approve the minutes from the June 9th, 2022 meeting. We didn't have a meeting last time because we didn't have a quorum, so I need a motion to accept those minutes.
Make a motion to accept the June 9th minutes.
Okay, got a motion from Steve.
I'll second it.
Aaron seconds it. Vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, solid waste. We have a couple items under the solid waste program. First of all, we need to, you got in your packet from the solid waste out, the landfill, from Brian Rockwell, his report. And we need a resolution for that to accept it. And we need to do that as an emergency.
So we need a resolution to accept it?
Yes, he wants a resolution for it. If you read the email, that's what it said.
I didn't quite understand all that. I did ask about it, but we didn't get answers, so.
Let's look it up. I think it said, he would like to have a resolution that we accept this report, because it's their report long-range plan down the road till 2035, I believe it said, so.
37.
37, yeah. And he needs, you got it up on the email, what it says,
That's it.
what he wrote, yeah. He said something about having a resolution, so I need a motion to do that. And probably, it doesn't need, I wouldn't think as an emergency right now, from somebody.
We need it as an emergency, or we didn't?
We do not.
Okay. I guess I'll move to make a resolution to accept this report.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Is that right, Brian, you think, or did you see the email from them?
I don't think I was included on that, but
The only one I saw
I'll shoot one to you. I didn't look
was
at it.
Jeff Reeser was forwarded to
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
yeah.
So,
It's like a 200-page report.
so
I got the report,
Yeah.
my question was, if
Did not
it
read
wasn't, if Jeff Reeser was the one, I mean, and we were just being included in knowing about it, I wasn't sure. how
I
we
think
did
he
it.
says, I'm gonna look up his email, I'm sure that's what it says.
Yeah, we have to do that.
Yeah, I thought so,
Yeah, I have the email up right here.
yeah. What's it say?
I just need the signed resolution from each of us.
Signed resolution.
That's all it says.
Yep, that's all, we need to do it. Okay, we got a motion to do it, we have a second,
I second.
Steve seconds it. Any more discussion on it? Okay, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, put that on the agenda, next council meeting. Okay, next on is the solid waste is the rate increase for solid waste garbage pickup. You have before you a letter from the service director explaining why we have to raise the rates, basically. I'm going to read this. It says, current rate for senior citizens and Signals trash pickup is $10. The proposed rate increase of $2 will increase revenue by $42,000 per year. $1.50 increase will go to further operations, and $50 will be restored back into the replacement fund. The current rate for regular residential trash pickup is $16. The proposed rate of $2 will increase revenue $66,120 per year. And also $1.50 of it will go towards the current operations and 50 cents to restore. Increase the funding of the current operations will be $81,000, and increase the funding to the replacement fund will be $27,222. And this is, I do not believe we have had a rate increase since 2014, I believe was the last one. And that being said, with inflationary, the way they are now, that would put up the inflationary at about $25 a month people would have to pay, and we're keeping it pretty low yet. If you go around different communities, they're paying a lot more for that garbage pickup than what we are. So, is there any discussion from anybody on it? To keep the garbage fund solid, we're going to have to do this. So they took money out of it earlier for the replacement fund, I believe, for something. And so we're going to have to bite the bullet, unfortunately. Nobody wants a rate increase. We also got to keep the equipment going. We got to keep the people going, so.
Do we even know what's going on with the garbage?
What do you mean?
Well, they came in with this information about another group taking it over. They came in and said that that was pretty much a done deal, and now
No,
they're
they
asking
never
for
said
a
that.
rate
They never said it was a
increase,
done
so
deal for somebody else taking it over. They never said
We
that.
kind of need to know what they've decided, because
Well,
they
they
said
never-
they'd bring us back more
I don't-
information, and this is the first information we've gotten.
I don't remember them ever saying that it was a done deal for a private company to come in. They wouldn't do that, I don't think. No, they didn't say that. So, we need to act on it. Either take it home, look it over, we'll do it next time, or we need to do it tonight.
I think we should look it over and find out more.
Okay.
If they can bring us more information, that'd be great.
I don't know what more information you need. Yeah.
Well, I know, Terry. Dan Wireball, 1092 Martha Avenue. I know, what more information do you need? But, you know, when I'm at home, as a homeowner, as a business owner, when prices go up on things, I try to sit down and figure out how I'm going to pay that. I just don't pass it on to my customer. I can't pass it on to my customers. I have a set rate at home. I don't go to my boss and say, hey, they're raising the water rate, so you got to give me a raise. A couple years ago, anyhow, this is dated September 7th, 2018, so I don't know if he's held on to this for a couple years or what, but that's about the time, a couple years ago, I asked them when they were raising water rates, gave them a list of things that I asked them to consider to not have to raise water rates or not raise them as much. Of course, they come back, finally got a response from them, and they couldn't do any of it. One of the things that sticks out in my mind was they run out, they turn off the water. I know that's different than this. When they run out and turn off the water, I said, why can't you pick up the phone and call these people and say, hey, you didn't pay your bill. You got 48 hours. But they said, oh, we're getting a new system, and we can't do it until we get this new system. Well, that's been years ago. If they even got the new system, I don't know. Anyhow, my objection is that they just come, every time they come, and they say, we're out of money, we got to raise the price. You know, and I'm speaking not just for me, for everybody in Bucyrus. We got to raise the price because prices went up. Okay, well, you know, look at the department, you know, and I'm not talking about cutting jobs or, you know, you can't just say, you know, if your electric bill is sky high, what do? You say, okay, maybe we better make sure we turn out lights. Maybe we better get LED bulbs instead of the old style bulbs. Save some money. They just constantly come and say we need more money, and they don't ever come up and say, there's, you know, we've looked at this and we've looked at that and we've looked at this. They don't even have, like Aaron said, they don't even have on here that the rates, that they've raised the rates. I heard that the county had raised the rates, but there's nothing in this letter that says the county raised the rates. So, and I think the last time we deferred, they did raise the rates, and we took it out of the garbage truck fund so we wouldn't have to raise rates. Okay, and so now we're to this point. So I just think, you know, you guys can talk about it or pass it or whatever, but I just think the administration needs to come with a plan other than, we need more money. And if they do need more money, they need to find a place to get the more money.
And a newer letter.
What's that?
And a newer letter.
Yeah. So that's all I got to say.
Okay. Yep, sure.
Jim Richardson, 316 River Street. I agree with Dan on two reasons. One is, I live by myself, and I might get one bag of garbage a month. And there's supposed to be 6 bags a week, I believe. And you're charging me for a rate for 6 bags a week every month, and I may put out 12 bags for the whole year. So they're figuring by weight when they take it out there. So what happened to all that surplus? It's actually a surplus. My money's a surplus, and all the other seniors that don't put out that much garbage, what happened to that surplus? So falling back on what Dan said, Dan goes, instead of just raising rates, how about let's dip in here and start cutting here and there and see what we can do. There's got to be some place you can cut. There's got to be. And the second thing is, you're talking about privatizing our garbage. You know, it's bad enough that these increases has come up. I'm paying $57 and something a month for my water. And for a single person, that's just way too much, period. But we had to have that new water plant. We had to have everything. But I don't see anybody wanting to cut back and start itemizing and start paying attention to where money's getting wasted at. Seriously getting wasted at. And if you go privatization and have some other company come in, our garbage rates are going to go sky high. The sky will be the limit. We'll probably quadruple our water bill and our garbage if you go privatize. You know, it's been a touchy situation for a long time, but I say keep people out of our business right now. Do like Mr. Wireball suggests, sit down and see where you can rob Paul to pay Peter, and it can be done. I mean, people laughed at me because when I come in here and told you what it costs to put up one no parking sign. It's approximately, what did I say it was? It's approximately $40 to $50 for one parking sign. On one street in this town, we've got no parking signs every 15 feet. You go all over this town, start adding it up, that's a lot of money. 1,000 signs, that's $6,000 right there, or $60,000, however you want to add it up. You start looking at the little end of it, watch the pennies, and then start saving the money. Start cutting back and do what you need to do. And that's all that I would want the city to do, but for anything, do not privatize under no circumstances. Because that's just going to hurt us even worse. You think we're in a bad spot now, the city's got to watch this money and that money? You haven't seen high yet.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. That being said, in the letter that we got from Jeff here, dated on, like Mr. Wireball was talking about, dated 2018, it says here, I misspoke earlier that we have not had an increase since 2004. Not 14, but it's 2004. Now you think about that, what things cost back in 2004 to replace the garbage truck, we had money to do that with, but over the years that's been dwindling down. So it's like anything else, if you keep it at a certain price, you're going to have to increase it sooner or later to be solvable and to keep it going. So that's something we got to think about as a committee. And if you want to table it, we'll address it next meeting, get more information on different prices and stuff, we'll do that. But
That'd be good.
it's got to be done, I think, sooner or later, because
I mean, it would have been nice of him to write us a letter now. What, we're just recycling what he wrote before, or somebody did?
what's your opinion, Chief?
I think we need to table it for now. I think there's a lot of discussion that's left on the table.
Okay. We will do that. Table it till next committee meeting. We'll get Jeff here to talk about it a little bit more, give us a little more information.
That'd be nice.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything in the open projects anybody wants to discuss? Seeing none. Any more public participation from anybody? Seeing none, we'll adjourn at 6:52.